Welcome to English Weaver. Today we bring you the inspiring story of Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple and legendary innovator. Join us to learn English through story, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring tales. In this episode, we dive into the journey of a man whose vision reshaped technology and design. His bold ideas powered a revolution that changed the way we live, work, and dream every single day. Steve Jobs was more than a founder. He was a storyteller, a risk-taker, and a relentless pursuer of perfection. His drive and passion ignite creativity in us all and spark our own ambitions. From a humble garage startup to a global empire, his path was filled with daring moves, fierce competition, and groundbreaking products that captured the world's imagination in an instant. Today you will feel the energy behind his decisions, the courage in his failures, and the brilliance in his triumphs. Buckle up for an emotional and motivational ride through innovation. This story is simple to follow but packed with big lessons. We tell it in clear, short parts so you can improve your English while learning from a true pioneer of modern technology. Feel the tension of boardroom battles, the joy of creative breakthroughs, and the disappointment of public setbacks. Every moment reveals insight into character and leadership you can apply. Get ready to learn how a visionary mind turned obstacles into opportunities, and how one person's legacy still inspires innovation around the globe in every industry today. Let's embark on this adventure together. Stay with us as we unfold the remarkable life and leadership of Steve Jobs. Press subscribe now and join this extraordinary journey. Over the next minutes, you will witness how an imperfect journey carved out timeless lessons in creativity, leadership, and resilience. His story will motivate you to think differently and aim higher. As we explore this narrative, notice how his relentless focus on quality and simplicity fueled game-changing inventions. These insights will enrich your vocabulary and spark fresh ideas for your own path. Now, take a deep breath, clear your mind, and prepare to uncover the human side of a genius visionary. This introduction is just the spark that lights up an extraordinary tale. Steve Jobs was born on February 24, 1955, in San Francisco, California, to young parents who placed him for adoption. He grew up in Mountain View, a quiet suburb that later became Silicon Valley. His adoptive parents, Paul and Clara Jobs, provided a loving and stable home. Paul, a machinist, taught Steve how to work with electronics in their garage, sparking his fascination with gadgets. As a child, Steve was curious and headstrong. He loved exploring electronics and taking machines apart. He spent hours tinkering with radios and motors, driven by an insatiable urge to understand how things worked. At school, Steve showed flashes of brilliance and also rebellion. He questioned authority and refused busy work. His teachers saw potential but often found him difficult. He thrived when learning practical skills. In junior high, Steve met his future partner Steve Wozniak through a mutual friend. They bonded over pranks and electronics projects. This friendship would later ignite the spark that became Apple. During high school summers, Steve worked at Hewlett-Packard, where he impressed Bill Hewlett with his ambition and technical skills. This experience gave him confidence to pursue innovation beyond his years. In 1972, Steve enrolled at Reed College in Portland, Oregon. The cost of tuition worried his parents, so he dropped out after one semester but stayed on campus to audit creative classes he found inspiring. He attended a calligraphy course that taught him about serif and sans serif fonts. Little did he know this artistic exploration would later shape the elegant typography of future Apple products. Steve's time at Reed also introduced him to Eastern philosophy. He studied Zen Buddhism and meditation. These practices grounded him and influenced his minimalist design thinking in later years. Returning to California, he took a spiritual retreat to India in 1974. He sought enlightenment with a guru and lived as a monk. This journey deepened his search for simplicity and focus in life and work. Back home, Steve joined the electronics team at Atari. He worked alongside colleagues who recognized his intensity and vision. His insistence on perfection sometimes clashed with the casual company culture. In 1975, inspired by the emerging microcomputer movement, Steve and Wozniak designed the prototype Apple I in Jobs' parents' garage. Their shared passion for accessible technology fueled long nights of coding. The early Apple team operated with minimal resources. Steve convinced local shops to supply parts on credit. His charm and determination kept the project alive despite financial uncertainty. Steve's childhood hobbies in mechanics and art merged naturally in his early entrepreneurial efforts. He sketched circuit layouts and envisioned how users might interact with computers one day. Family trips to the beach introduced Steve to nature's beauty and unpredictability. These outings reinforced his belief that balance and harmony were essential in both design and life. His adoptive father taught him the value of hard work and precision. Paul's garage projects instilled in Steve a respect for hands-on craftsmanship that he later demanded at Apple. Clara, his adoptive mother, encouraged his creativity and urged him to follow his passions. Her support gave Steve the emotional confidence to take bold risks later in his career. At age 18, Steve graduated from Homestead High School in Cupertino. He was known for his curious mind, practical jokes, and tendency to challenge the status quo in classrooms. Friends remember him as intense and charismatic. Steve's vision of the future computer was already clear to him, even if others dismissed his ideas as too radical or far-fetched. By the end of the 1970s, his early influences, electronics, calligraphy, Zen, and Indian spirituality, had fused into a unique worldview. He saw technology as an art form and a means to enrich human life. Steve's foundation in family values and creative exploration set the stage for his groundbreaking contributions. His childhood lessons in craftsmanship and minimalism would echo throughout his career. He never forgot the thrill of building something from scratch. Every component, every font, every interface would need to reflect the same care and attention he learned in his parents' garage. Steve's early life was a tapestry of innovation and introspection. It created a leader who balanced technical genius with aesthetic vision, shaping the seeds for Apple's future triumphs. His childhood story reminds us that creativity thrives where curiosity meets discipline. It shows how diverse experiences, art, spirituality, mechanics, can combine to form a visionary outlook. From Mountain View to Portland to India and back, Steve's journey was never linear. He followed inspiration wherever it led, trusting that each detour would contribute to his ultimate path. In every challenge he faced as a young man, Steve learned resilience and adaptability. These qualities would become vital as he took his first steps into the emerging world of personal computing. As we conclude this chapter of Steve Jobs' formative years, remember that true innovation often grows from humble beginnings and varied influences working in harmony. In 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak founded Apple Computer in the Jobs family garage. They worked long hours to assemble circuit boards for the Apple I, driven by a shared dream of user-friendly machines. The launch of the Apple I marked a turning point. Steve's flair for presentation made the computer stand out, while Wozniak's technical genius powered its performance. Their partnership combined vision and skill. In 1977, Apple released the Apple II, a breakthrough home computer. With color graphics and an open architecture, it appealed to hobbyists and schools. Sales soared, giving Steve confidence to pursue even bolder ideas. Steve's charisma attracted early investors like Mike Markkula, whose funding and mentorship gave Apple the resources to scale. Together, they formed a leadership team determined to reshape personal computing. Apple went public in 1980, creating instant millionaires among its employees. The stock surge reflected widespread excitement about the industry and propelled Steve into Silicon Valley's spotlight as a visionary entrepreneur. Inspired by Xerox PARC's graphical interface, Steve spearheaded the Macintosh project. He demanded a computer that anyone could use, emphasizing simplicity and elegance in both hardware and software design. The Macintosh team worked in secret for years. Steve pushed for innovative features like the graphical user interface and a mouse. His relentless perfectionism drove engineers to refine every pixel and component. On January 24, 1984, Steve introduced the Macintosh with a dramatic commercial during the Super Bowl. The ad positioned Apple as a rebel challenging conformity, and the computer captivated the world's imagination. Though early sales of the Macintosh were slower than expected, it set new standards for design and usability. The machine's friendly interface redefined computing and planted seeds for future innovation across the industry. Tensions rose within Apple over strategy and personality clashes. Steve's demanding style and eccentric leadership alienated some executives, leading to a power struggle with CEO John Sculley in 1985. After the board sided with Sculley, Steve resigned from Apple. Though painful, his departure marked a new chapter. He left with a vision undiminished, determined to prove his creative ideals in fresh ventures. In 1985, Steve founded Next Computer, aiming to build advanced workstations for higher education and business. He invested heavily in hardware design, prioritizing quality materials and a sleek, minimalist look. Next faced commercial challenges due to high costs, but its Next Step operating system impressed developers. The platform's object-oriented design influenced future software and would later form the core of Mac OS. In 1986, Steve acquired the graphics group from Lucasfilm's computer division. Renamed Pixar, it focused on computer animation. Steve invested personal funds and steered the company toward feature-length storytelling. Under Steve's leadership, Pixar released Toy Story in 1995, the world's first fully computer-animated film. Its critical and commercial success validated Steve's belief in blending technology with creative art. As Pixar thrived, Steve maintained ties with Next and watched from afar as his former company faltered. Apple's product line lacked coherence, and many feared the once mighty firm might fade away. In late 1996, Apple acquired Next for its software, bringing Steve back as an advisor. He quickly restructured the management team and streamlined product plans, injecting fresh momentum into the struggling company. By July 1997, Steve became interim CEO, famously declaring, "I'm a pirate." He launched a bold new marketing campaign, simplified the product lineup, and revived Apple's brand with the Think Different slogan. In 1998, Apple unveiled the iMac, a colorful, all-in-one computer designed to rekindle consumer excitement. The iMac's playful design and easy setup reignited Apple's sales and restored its reputation for innovation. Building on the iMac's success, Steve oversaw the creation of the iBook and professional Power Mac G4. Each product highlighted his focus on aesthetics, user experience, and seamless integration of hardware and software. In 2001, Steve introduced the iPod, a portable music player that transformed how people listened to songs. With its intuitive click wheel and sleek design, the iPod became a cultural phenomenon and boosted Apple's visibility. That same year, Apple opened its first retail stores, redefining technology shopping with minimalist layouts and knowledgeable staff. Steve's insistence on customer experience ensured these stores became global landmarks. In 2007, Steve unveiled the iPhone, a revolutionary smartphone combining phone, internet, and music in one device. Its multi-touch interface and App Store ecosystem redefined mobile computing and spawned an entire industry. Steve's keynote presentations became legendary, blending drama and clarity. His ability to connect with audiences made product launches feel like unforgettable events, building anticipation and loyalty among customers. In 2010, Steve introduced the iPad, a tablet that bridged the gap between smartphones and laptops. The iPad's instant success underscored Steve's talent for identifying unmet needs and delivering intuitive solutions. Under Steve's leadership, Apple expanded into services like iTunes, the App Store, and later iCloud. These ecosystems created recurring revenue streams and deepened customer engagement across devices. By the time Steve stepped down in August 2011 due to health issues, Apple had grown into the world's most valuable company. His vision had transformed multiple industries: computers, music, phones, and tablets. Steve's career was a series of bold bets on design, user experience, and integrated ecosystems. His relentless pursuit of excellence delivered products that combined form and function in unprecedented ways. His achievements include over 300 patents, countless design awards, and a legacy of innovation that continues to influence technology and culture. Each milestone reflected his belief in making complex technology simple. Steve Jobs demonstrated that perseverance, curiosity, and a clear vision can reshape industries. His career reminds us to pursue our passions, embrace creativity, and never settle for anything less than extraordinary. As we reflect on his achievements, notice how Steve balanced technical innovation with artistry. His products were as much works of art as engineering marvels, reminding us that beauty drives engagement. Steve's journey from a garage startup to global icon shows how vision, risk-taking, and collaboration can fuel extraordinary success. His career achievements inspire entrepreneurs and creators around the world. These milestones in Steve Jobs' career illustrate the power of bold ideas and relentless execution. His influence endures in every Apple device and in the countless companies he inspired to think differently. In the mid-1980s, Steve faced his first major setback when he was forced out of Apple, the company he co-founded. The departure stung deeply, shaking his confidence but fueling a renewed determination. His exit from Apple felt like a personal rejection. Friends wondered if he would recover, yet Steve refused to let this defeat define him, channeling frustration into new ventures with focused energy each day. Building Next taught Steve hard lessons in patience and persistence. High production costs and limited market demand led to slow sales. He grappled with criticism that his machines were too expensive and niche. Investors grew restless as Next struggled. Steve felt the pressure to deliver returns. He balanced the risk of compromise against his insistence on quality, learning that innovation often demands financial sacrifice. At Pixar, Steve encountered skeptical executives who doubted computer animation's potential. Critics warned that feature-length animation would never rival traditional studios, testing his faith in the project's vision. Early Pixar shorts failed to capture broad attention. Steve faced doubt from his own team. He weathered internal doubts by reminding everyone of the long view, reinforcing the dream of a full-length animated feature. When Toy Story was completed, Disney executives questioned its commercial viability. Steve held firm, negotiating to secure a worldwide release. He believed in the film's magic, despite fears of industry backlash. The critical success of Toy Story vindicated Steve's gamble, yet he remained humble. He saw how overcoming skepticism and navigating studio politics refined his leadership, teaching him that conviction fuels breakthrough. Returning to Apple in 1997 presented fresh hurdles. The company was near bankruptcy, culture was fractured, and morale was low. Steve faced internal resistance as he reshaped strategy and cut products to focus on core offerings. Layoffs and portfolio cuts caused resentment among staff. Steve delivered blunt messages, straining relationships. He learned that honesty and clarity matter, but empathy and communication are crucial when guiding change. Critics mocked the iMac as a colorful oddity. Early sales numbers worried analysts. Steve responded by refining production and marketing, showing that resilience and adaptability can convert skepticism into enthusiasm. Developing the iPod challenged Apple's engineering and supply chains. Component suppliers struggled to meet demands. Steve worked tirelessly to align partners, learning the importance of collaboration and operational finesse. As the iPhone project unfolded, teams wrestled with complex hardware and software integration. Frequent technical setbacks led to heated meetings. Steve's demanding style risked burnout, teaching him to balance intensity with support. Testing prototypes under strict deadlines, Steve rejected features he deemed unworthy. His rigorous standards drove engineers to exhaustion, yet instilled pride in delivering a product that exceeded expectations in every detail. When early iPhone units malfunctioned, Steve faced public scrutiny. He took responsibility, ordering teams back to the drawing board. His humility under pressure demonstrated how leaders must own failures as well as successes. The launch of the first App Store faced security breaches and quality concerns. Steve coordinated swift updates and clear communication, showing that transparency and decisive action can rebuild trust after setbacks. Apple's retail expansion brought unfamiliar challenges in real estate and staffing. Early store openings suffered hiccups. Steve learned that scaling a vision requires hands-on training and an unwavering customer focus at every location. In every crisis, Steve turned to his personal motto, simplicity. He simplified product lines and processes, eliminating clutter. This principle guided him through complexity, teaching that clarity emerges when distractions are removed. Throughout these challenges, Steve remained vulnerable, openly admitting mistakes to colleagues. His willingness to learn from failure inspired teams to embrace experimentation as a path to innovation and growth. Even as health concerns loomed, Steve pressed on. He hid his illness from many, fearing it might undermine Apple's momentum. This struggle taught him the importance of balancing personal well-being with professional drive. Facing mortality, Steve gained new perspective on priorities. He invested more time in mentoring successors, realizing that legacy depends on nurturing talent and passing on lessons beyond any single product. Each challenge softened his edges, transforming him into a more empathetic leader. The friction of conflict taught Steve to listen, to adapt his communication, and to value the strengths of diverse team members. His failures revealed that resilience is not just enduring hardship, but adapting strategies and mindset. Steve's story shows that every obstacle hides an opportunity to learn, to refine vision, and to strengthen resolve. Through trials at Apple, Next, and Pixar, Steve discovered that innovation demands courage to face uncertainty. He learned to trust his intuition while embracing data-driven feedback to guide critical decisions. His journey reminds us that setbacks are integral to growth. When vision meets struggle, leaders must balance passion with patience. Steve's tenacity transformed each hardship into a catalyst for future achievement. As we reflect on his challenges and failures, remember that true innovation is forged in adversity. Steve's path shows that setbacks, when met with resilience and vision, can become the greatest teachers of all. Steve's return to Apple marked the start of an unprecedented renaissance that reshaped multiple industries and taught us the power of clarity, vision, and user focus in every innovation. He revived Apple's fortunes by simplifying the product line, focusing on a few great devices, and eliminating distractions, showing that focus amplifies impact when resources are limited. The iPod's launch in 2001 transformed music consumption, making digital libraries popular, and taught us that solving a single problem elegantly can spark a cultural shift around the world. With the iMac and iBook, Steve demonstrated that design and functionality can coexist, creating products that delight users and achieve commercial success, proving that beauty sells. The App Store, introduced in 2008, created a whole ecosystem of developers and businesses, illustrating the value of platform thinking and how open marketplaces can drive innovation collaboratively. Steve's holistic approach integrated hardware, software, and services into seamless experiences, teaching us the importance of end-to-end control to maintain quality and user satisfaction. Under his leadership, Apple's focus on customer experience extended to retail stores, where minimalist layouts and knowledgeable staff redefined how people buy technology products. His keynote presentations set a new standard for storytelling in business, demonstrating that clear narratives and suspenseful reveals can inspire audiences and build loyal communities. The iPhone upended the mobile phone industry by combining touchscreens, internet, and rich applications, showing that convergence of functions can create entirely new product categories. Steve's legacy includes over 300 patents spanning user interface designs, device mechanics, and software features, underscoring his role as both inventor and visionary leader. He influenced countless entrepreneurs to think different, emphasizing that pursuing one's passion and believing in radical ideas can lead to transformative breakthroughs. Steve's personal motto of simplicity taught us to remove complexity from designs and thought processes, reinforcing the lesson that less can often be more when executed with purpose. Apple's market value soared under his guidance, surpassing traditional rivals, proving that a brand built on trust and innovation can command lasting loyalty and financial success. His commitment to excellence permeated Apple's culture, inspiring teams to hold themselves to high standards and to view setbacks as opportunities to refine and improve. Steve's focus on end-user emotions revealed that products are more than tools. They are experiences that connect deeply with people's lives, elevating mundane tasks into joyful interactions. His legacy extends to design education, where his work is studied in universities, inspiring students to blend art with technology and to prioritize user empathy in every solution. The story of Apple's resurgence under Steve teaches that leadership matters, and that a clear vision communicated passionately can align diverse teams toward a common, ambitious goal. Beyond products, Steve's influence shaped corporate culture by promoting iteration, prototyping, and rapid feedback loops, demonstrating how agile methods can accelerate innovation cycles. He championed secrecy in product development to build anticipation, illustrating the power of controlled information release in marketing and narrative building. Steve's life reminds us that true success is built on a foundation of vision, perseverance, and an unrelenting demand for quality, lessons that resonate in any field or endeavor. His journey shows that impact is not measured by speed alone, but by how deeply solutions address real human needs, encouraging us to focus on purpose over profit. Steve inspired a generation to embrace creativity, risk-taking, and thinking beyond conventional boundaries, forging pathways for countless startups and innovative projects. His story teaches the value of combining intuition with data, balancing gut instincts with research to guide decisions that feel right and perform reliably. Steve's legacy lives on in every touchscreen interface, every elegant product packaging, and every customer experience designed around simplicity and delight. Through his work, he taught us that leadership includes creating space for others to shine, building teams that share ownership and pride in a collective vision. The ripple effects of his innovations continue to shape industries as diverse as education, healthcare, entertainment, and finance, demonstrating the scalability of bold ideas. Steve showed that learning never stops, and that success comes from continually questioning assumptions, iterating solutions, and staying curious about the world. His life underlines the lesson that setbacks and success are part of the same journey, and that resilience emerges from turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Ultimately, Steve Jobs' legacy is a call to action, to dream boldly, to pursue excellence, and to remember that technology's highest purpose is to enrich human lives. As you reflect on his impact, consider which principles resonate most with your own journey and how you might apply Steve's lessons to your personal and professional goals. In every Apple device, in every intuitive interface, and in every bold product launch, Steve's spirit lives on, inspiring us to think differently and to challenge the status quo. His success story reminds us that great leaders combine vision, craftsmanship, and empathy to create value that lasts beyond a single lifetime. These reflections on Steve Jobs' legacy encourage us to embody his passion for innovation, to stay humble in success, and to keep pushing boundaries in pursuit of something meaningful. As we reach the final chapter of Steve Jobs' story, we reflect on the path he walked and the principles he stood for in crafting a legacy that endures and inspires innovation. His journey from garage tinkerer to global icon shows how vision, tenacity, and attention to detail can transform an idea into a world-changing reality. We've seen how simplicity in design unlocks clarity, how resilience in adversity fuels growth, and how passion for perfection raises the bar for everyone. Steve taught us that technology should serve people's needs, that beauty and function can coexist, and that true leadership means staying curious and humble. His life reminds us that failure is never final, but a stepping stone toward greater achievement when met with honest reflection and a willingness to learn. Thank you for joining us on this emotional and motivational journey through Steve's life and career, and for letting English Weaver be your guide in learning English through story. If you enjoyed this narrative, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe to English Weaver for more inspiring stories presented in clear, engaging English. What can we learn from Steve Jobs' devotion to simplicity and innovation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's spark a conversation together. Which visionary or topic would you like us to explore next on English Weaver? Leave a suggestion in the comments, and we'll bring another exciting story your way soon. Until next time, keep dreaming big, stay curious, and remember that every challenge holds the seed of a breakthrough. See you in our next story. Goodbye from English Weaver, where learning English meets real-life inspiration.